We got our boy Charles Goldman of AtoZ Sports on here to talk some Chiefs draft strategy tonight. Let's freaking go. Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? Mike, cheers in a prime right off the rip today. Let's freaking go. Hope you guys are doing well. Do us a favor, roll on in here, hit that like button, get this out to more people. We're going to have a good draft talk today. Like I just said, we have a special guest on tonight, Charles Goldman of AtoZ Sports. He's going to get in here and talk to us a little bit about this Chiefs draft strategy, especially after a lot of the recent news and signings and things like that, because it's kind of gone back and forth and back and forth. But before we get started, just want to take a second to shout out Prize Picks for sponsoring tonight's live stream.
Chiefs Kingdom, we have officially partnered with Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy sports platform. It's distinctly separate from a traditional sports book, and it's the absolute best way to add some extra heat to every single game. The app is incredibly easy to use. You aren't playing against sharks. You're just picking more or less on an individual player projection. Think Kenneth Walker's total rushing yards per game, more or less. Travis Kelce's total touchdowns in 2026, only 4, more or less. You just pick at least 2 players, lock in your lineup, and you're in the action. Prize Picks is available in most states, including California, Texas, Florida, and right here in the heart of America, Missouri and Kansas. One thing we love is the new public feed. You can actually find and follow us directly on the app at All Chiefed Up. You'll be able to see our live lineups and tell our picks before we even post them here on the channel or our other social media platforms. So if you haven't joined yet, just download the app and use code HMA when you sign up. When you play your first $5 lineup, you're going to get $50 in lineups instantly. Click the link in the description, use code HMA, and remember to always play responsibly. Now back to the show.
That's right.
They kicked me out.
Get Prize Picks if you don't have it already. Use that code HMA. He is risen, baby. It's Easter. Happy Easter, everybody. Hope you praised Jesus and found a bunch of eggs and candy today. Let's freaking go. Mike Nicky Moonrock right off the rip says, I'm waiting for Gracie Hunt to be the guest. Well, he might not be as sexy as Gracie Hunt, but we do have a guest that knows some balls. So let's bring him on in, Mike. We got Charles Goldman of AtoZ Sports. How we doing, Charles?
Man, that's some tough competition there. I don't know about that one.
I know, right?
You might be waiting for a while to have Gracie Hunt on the show.
We'll make a few calls.
You can MC the wedding. Come on now.
Heck yeah, man. So yeah, like I was saying, a lot of people have been using draft simulators and stuff like that, doing their own scenarios on the Chiefs draft. And of course, everyone tries to figure out or get in the brain of Brett Veach and Andy Reid and all them. What are they going to do, right? And then you start looking at things. It's like, oh, well, they just signed a couple, a corner here or a safety here. And then all of a sudden you have stuff like Rashee Rice is looking at absolutely 0 suspension. And so things have swung 5 million different ways and different logics and everything. Where are you kind of sitting on that, Charles? Like, just right off the rip, what do you think is on their mind come pick number 9, if they stay there?
I would say what happens in the first 8 picks is what's on their mind because, usually they're waiting until pick number 31, pick number 32, right? And waiting all night. And now they have to wait a little bit less, but nonetheless, they still have to wait to see what these other teams do. And frankly, it can go a million different ways still, right? Right, I think we know maybe one of the picks, right? Fernando Mendoza is probably going number 1 overall unless the Raiders do something wild. But besides that, there's 7 more picks before the Chiefs come on the clock, and it's like, are there going to be an offensive lineman drafted in there? I see a lot of mock drafts out there right now that are you have no offensive lineman going between pick number 1 and pick number 9, and that to me is wild.
Absolutely.
I feel like I look at like a lot of these drafts, and that doesn't happen very often. The offensive tackle position is one that is valued extremely highly in the NFL and maybe not quite as highly in the public and in the media's eye. And I just feel like that's going to be one where I'm going to be kind of sitting on pins and needles to see if that actually happens, right? Like if one offensive tackle goes in those, first, 7 picks after the Mendoza pick, great. If 2 go, you're feeling really good about landing a difference maker if you're the Chiefs. And then, on the flip side of that, okay, what if it does happen that none of these offensive tackles go? Or what if it happens that, you get what is, considered the quote unquote worst possible draft board? I had this scenario actually in a mock draft that we did for a full staff. It came out on Sunday here. And I felt like it was the worst possible scenario. Bain was off the board. Bailey was off the board. Caleb Downs was off the board. Basically, all the wide receivers were off the board except for Jordan Tyson. And I think actually Mekhi Lemon was there as well. And I ended up taking Mekhi Lemon. I thought that was the best remaining player available there. But, if the Chiefs are sitting at pick number 9, and they have their option of taking the top offensive tackle prospect, like no offensive tackles have been picked, or taking the top cornerback prospect, I think there's going to be, some tension in that draft room thinking, okay, do I reach for something that's maybe more of a need, like a edge rusher or a wide receiver if they're just not there? Or do I go after taking one of these top prospects at these positions? And I feel like Veach is going to be torn, frankly, and
Absolutely.
It's going to be a tough call.
I do think there could be a bigger run on offensive linemen than people are thinking, though, in the first round. Absolutely.
Steve, I had a question. A lot of people are talking about needing a pass rusher. We've been talking about that for years. Bain and Bailey seem to be the two most popular. They're probably going to be gone. We've all talked about it on the channel. Like, if you want those two, you're probably going to have to package something and move up.
Correct.
McAberry here says 9-40 to the Cardinals for David Bailey. So people are talking about that. We've got other people that say trade down. Jake says, I would love the trade down scenario. So a lot of people are saying, hey, you got half the fans wanting to trade up to go get Bain or Bailey. The other half says he's got dinosaur arms. Bailey doesn't fit in our scheme. Trade down. So what do you think, Charles? If Brett Veach is sitting at 9 and Bain or Bailey is his guy, do you think he's going to go up? And if so, how far could you see him going up? And if they're all off the board, like you said, in that nightmare scenario, what's the odds you think Brett Veach could go down a little bit, maybe target Kenyon Sadiq around like the mid, teens?
I think that's all going to depend whether or not other teams are willing to come up, right? Like you have to have you have to have that willingness. And frankly, if the Chiefs are a team that is sitting at 9 after they haven't had a top 10 pick since 2017, they're trying to move down. I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams that are trying to move up. I think that's going to tell you what the talent is of this draft class and what people are feeling. And I would say that would probably be a rare spot. I think they're going to have a hard time moving down from number 9. Moving up, possibility. I think there's more possibilities there.
Well, maybe if Francis Maiano is still on the board and Spencer Fano and some of those guys, maybe there will be a team that will want to come up and grab one of those offensive linemen. Because like you said, it's pretty rare for there to be a top 10 where no one's really talking about offensive linemen. It's very strange. And I tend to think that maybe there are some that could go a lot higher than people are thinking. Like you start talking about Caden Proctor or Monroe Freeling, maybe even Max Onacher. I think they could all be a little higher than people are thinking.
Dude, speaking of that, okay, I heard the other day, I don't even remember where I heard it. I almost fell over. I passed out. I don't even remember when I woke up, like where I heard it. But I heard that the Browns could be in on Caden Proctor. Not at their second pick, at number 6.
Yeah, I've seen it.
What the hell are they doing in Cleveland?
They've had some offensive line problems there, and they're trying to fix it, man.
Yeah, sure.
that would be an overreach of a fix. But we'll see.
Well, you hate Caden Proctor more than most people.
I do not like his film. I don't like it.
I think
he whips too much.
I think it's interesting because he's such a big and athletic guy, and for how like big and athletic he is, I feel like when I watch him like anchor, I want like a little bit more. Like I want him to like dominate the guy, right? And I don't think.
Did you also catch the part where he gets to the second level, just misses everybody? That's another one too that I just hate. I hate it.
He has some moments that are like the right guard for the Seahawks. That dude, I mean, he just became a Super Bowl champion, so you can't really knock him. But man, that guy's film is funny to watch. But yeah, he's got some work to do. But I think teams, they fall in love with the tools, and that guy he's got the tools. He's just got to put it together at the next level. And if you believe in your offensive line coach, you're going to believe that he can get him right. So I think, Proctor probably more of like a late round guy for me, but I could absolutely see him going high.
Does he
See
kind of
the
remind
Browns
you of the other
sure.
player the Browns took a few years ago that actually turned out to be okay? That was just that massive tackle. I don't remember where he was from. It might have been Ohio State, actually. They had a massive tackle come out, and the Browns took him really early.
Jones or Dewan?
Yeah, Dewan Jones.
I can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, like he kind of gives me that vibe because he's just over. I think they said he hit almost 400 pounds.
That's the dude that had all the knee problems, though, and like scared everybody.
Crazy.
Yeah. Shout out Bryant Williamson. He's been a member for 12 months now. Says, so glad to catch y'all live on my day off. Excited for the draft. Let's freaking go, Bryant. Yeah, man. I'm glad you're off today. You should be off today. It's Easter. Everybody should be off today.
Hell
it's
yeah.
wild.
Carl says, I love his damn show. It's the best. Thanks, Carl. Appreciate you, brother.
We'll take
Mickey says, who is Charles's favorite player in the draft? Not in the first round. Charles, you got a my guy, a Charles my guy?
That's tough.
We need a name for it, like Charles's chum, Charles's own chap, Charles's chap in the second round. Who do we got?
I don't know if he's out of the first round. Like he's kind of teetering. I'm a big fan of that kid out of Tennessee, Colton Hood.
Okay,
I just like the way he plays. He reminds me. He reminds me of some of these cornerbacks who come out of college. There was one from LSU a few years back. I'm forgetting his name, but he has a chip on his shoulder and he plays like it too. Just really just physical, tough corner. He didn't have as strong of a Senior Bowl as I would have liked, which makes me kind of have him on that kind of like late round 1, early round 2 type of guy. But I like the way he plays ball. I think that like he's the type of guy that's going to catch Dave Merritt and Steve Spagnuolo's attention because like he'll come up and make a tackle too. He's not afraid to get his nose dirty. Plays really, really physical at the catch point, and I mean he doesn't give these receivers an inch. I just like the way he plays, man.
Yeah, Colton Hood was a guy that me and Steve, we wasn't too big on him. The Senior Bowl, he was getting like he was just so inconsistent. It was weird. I did go back and watch it after his pro day. Pretty good pro day. I'm starting to warm up to Colton Hood a little bit. At 29, I would be fine with it. I don't think I could take him any earlier than that. Jermon McCoy, that's another guy. A lot of people are big on him. He did come back and run at his pro day, but I thought he was favoring that knee just a little bit. I don't know what I thought I seen, or maybe I just made it up in my head, but I'm still not sold there. I think Mansour Delane might be the only guy I would consider at 9. Would you consider a corner at 9, or would you just say, no, we develop him too well, not doing it?
It'd be a tough sell for me at 9 to go with a corner. I just everything the Chiefs are telling you about how they're handling the cornerback position this season is like we're going to go the budget approach at this position because we feel like we can, right? And there's just not a lot of positions on this roster where you can say that. I think maybe cornerback and linebacker are probably like the two that are quote unquote budget. I think this year, I don't think you're going to see overwhelming investment. I'd be surprised to see like Sonny Siles or an Arvell Reese. I don't think they're going to make either of those guys are going to make it to 9. Maybe one of them does, but I'd be shocked to see that be the pick. And then, just cornerback, it's tough sell after trading away Trent McDuffie to go around and just spend that number 9 pick on cornerback. But again, if cards fall the way they might fall, then, you can do a whole lot worse than Mansour Delane. I think the guy allowed like 100 yards receiving this year.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of taking a corner that early. I just don't see it, especially in this draft too, because like you said, Delane, he's a beast, and then of course McCoy, Hood, some of those guys. I mean, even probably around, I would say pick 30 to 40. You got a little handful of them that could go there with Pons and Cisse and a couple guys. But I think there's some kind of hidden gems in this draft cornerback position. Like I'm really liking Devin Moore in Florida. Like I feel like he's like the big physical type guy that Spags would love to have and get his hands on. Charles Demings for Stephen F. Austin. That guy's a monster. I just think Ephesians Prize stock. There's what's the other one we were just talking about earlier?
Tacario.
Tacario.
Hey, A+ Davis. Yeah. That's what we like to call him.
No, but I mean, there are a handful of these guys that I think could be sleepers. And the thing about it is, like Charles said, they're kind of setting it up for that budget approach, and they have done nothing but knock that out of the park previous years. So I don't see why you would go off script and just spend a number 9 pick on a cornerback. It would seem wild to me when there's lots of other more pressing issues, in my opinion.
maybe 9 is a place where if Delane is on the board and say a team like Dallas that needs a corner, maybe that's a chance Brett Veach could go down to like 12 right there. It's not a super big move down. Get you a little bit more, ammo to move up later on from maybe 40 and 74.
That's all it would be for, though. I don't like the trade back scenario because I feel like we already have plenty of draft capital. Like Brett Veach is going to use what he has to move up already. So if you trade back, you just load up. You got 25 picks all of a sudden. Like it could get a little messy, but I don't know. I think just trade, like you were talking about it before we went on, Mike, you and Charles, how Brett Veach is known to move up. He doesn't go back very much at all. I think the only time we saw him do that really was when he ended up taking Sky Moore instead of George Pickens.
Oh, that worked out amazingly too.
But I mean,
it's good to have
any
that
other
in the
trade you
bank.
think about, Trent McDuffie, McCole Hardman, everybody, he always moved up to get the guy that he wanted. So I see that still being a trend this year, honestly, with the draft capital they have.
Yep. Charles, look, we've talked about all these picks. I'm sure people's going to keep throwing stuff in the chat. If you haven't got your question in for Charles, go ahead and do it.
Do it.
But we're going to do maybe a mock draft using the A to Z Sports new mock draft simulator. Tell us a little bit about it. And tell us how you guys come up with the idea. Was it just directly to piss off PFF, or how did you guys do it?
No, it had nothing to do with PFF. That was kind of just weird timing that, they had some stuff going on. And
Yeah.
we're trying to really hard to get this thing out this year. There was, a possibility that we weren't going to get it done and that it was going to be a 2027 thing. And, our team really put in some incredible effort. Travis May, who's kind of the lead engineer on this, has been working day and night, trying to get it ready. And our team has provided input for him every step of the way that has really helped us, formulate what I think is the best mock draft simulator in existence. We've got just a ton of features that you just aren't going to find anywhere else. When it comes to things like, we'll give you the probabilities of a player being on the board, past the pick that you're at. So if you're trying to decide on a specific player, specific position, you're going to actually get the number breakdown probabilities that guy will be available when you next come on the clock. And, we've got, everything from, the customization option of light mode and dark mode, right? I love that. The different AI tools that are there, right? The AI to AI trades, AI pick suggestions, and AI trade suggestions that are all optional toggles. If you don't like that stuff, you don't have to use it. Obviously, we have the positional premium, ability to move up and down the positional premiums for each team. The team needs weights. The randomness, if you want to really get the real NFL draft experience, which is quite random at times, right? Turn that randomness ticker all the way up to 10 and you're going to have a fun time. And then obviously the trade offer frequency, if you like to you like to see a lot of trades and get a lot of trades and have other teams in the AI system trading around,
that's what I like.
Turn that up and it's going to be a fun experience. I always have a fun time trying to predict okay, I'm going to make this pick, and then who between one pick, that I make, and then the next pick that I have is going to trade up and move around. And, obviously if you're looking to make the perfect mock draft, right. And you have a situation where you mess up, you pick someone, you regret it, have the instant regret, you have the undo button. You can just go back.
That's a beauty.
Look, A to Z, look, I've got a beef with y'all. Y'all giving too much power to the fans. Everybody out here is wanting to take Brett Veach's job, and because you're giving him too much info out there on A to Z's mock draft simulator. Brett Veach can't hit the undo button.
We've actually got some feedback from some teams on the mock draft simulator, and they actually really like it too. So, we're already working too on, our 2027 iteration of this. We've already released since we've launched. We launched on April 1st, and we're sitting here at what's today, April 5th. We've already released 3 updates to the simulator since we've launched.
That's awesome. Do you guys always plan on it being free, or are you guys putting a charge in the future, maybe a price? Because it is good. I like it just as good or better at the moment than even all the other ones that I was used to. It took a little while to get used to, but once I got used to it, I love it.
We talked really long and hard about this, and we wanted to make it a free experience because we thought that was the right way to go. We want people to experience this tool and use this tool, and putting it behind a paywall is just going to discourage people from doing that. We've worked really hard to make it the best experience possible. I've seen other mock draft simulators out there, and I don't want to like name names or put anyone else down, but like, being in this business, you understand that advertisements are how you make your money. That's just how it works, right? And sometimes the ad experience is not very good on these mock draft simulators, and they're just like overloaded. And we worked really hard to make sure that we had the right experience for people, so that we could make this free, and that we could provide it as a service to all the fans of the NFL draft out there.
I will say the big board is much better than the other ones that I've been on.
Oh, that was a question.
Makes more
That was a
sense.
question. Whose big board are you guys using? Is this like a to Z composite big board, or is it a specific person?
So it's custom built. We have like 15 different data points throughout the year that we've put together. You might notice that we release a lot of mock drafts at AtoZ Sports. I think like we release our first 2027 mock draft like hours after the 2026 NFL draft ends, right? So we have a ton of different data points, and we got these 15 specific data points that compile all of our own mock draft data. And actually, if you go into the simulator and you look at the individual players, you can actually see the trends of the players.
Yes, I've
you
seen
can click
that.
on that, and you can see the trends, how they've trended through those different 15 data points. So you can actually see, the stock of a player, where they were ranked kind of at the beginning of the college football season, and what people's opinions of that player was, and then how that kind of progressed as the college football season continued into kind of NFL draft season, and with the Senior Bowls and the Pro Days and all the workouts, and where their stock has really gone over the course of really a year plus period of time.
Yeah, for sure. We got T-Bone in the chat says, if they trade up, it's got to be for Bailey. Agree?
I think it's interesting that they brought Bailey in, and we haven't seen them bring Ruben Bain in. I'll be interested to see if they bring Ruben Bain in. Obviously everyone's on the like whole arm length thing. I think there's like other stuff there that they probably want to bring him in to like talk to him about before like making a decision that like, hey, this is our guy. But like, I think Bailey, and he's another one, you bring him in, I think, they probably want to get him like on the board and like show him some of the run defense film and like some of the things he needs to improve on, and like figure out a vision for him, because that's a guy where you think about some of the struggles that they've had trying to find this specific like type of pass rusher for Steve Spagnuolo's team. And it's been tough. Like they've taken a couple swings, and they haven't really found that guy, whether it's the Josh Uche trade or the Felix pick or BJ Thompson pick, like they've been looking for this guy who can be kind of like a speed rusher, who can kind of come into his own, to grow into his body and play the run a little bit better, a little bit more like the Chiefs would like at the edge rusher position. And I think that's kind of the biggest question mark that like a Bailey type is going to have to answer.
For sure. They screwed up. They didn't take Nick Bonito like we told them to. That's what happened. If they would have just watched All Chiefed Up for 5 minutes.
You do know Spags would have never played him anyway.
I don't know. I think he transcends that Spags BS.
I don't know if we.
But maybe
if he
David
does.
Bailey can. Maybe he can. And like that's the thing. Like, do we think that they're like you said, they've been kind of trying to hit that type of speed rusher, but at the same time, they also don't seem interested in it a lot. They'll just draft these, plug and play, got to set the edge, kind of boring edge rushers.
Yeah, I feel like I could name about 3 different guys that they could get like 40 beyond that they would probably like better than David Bailey. Like,
So
Danny Dennis Sutton out of Penn State, I could see Spags being like, no, that's the guy.
they could shock me and trade up to take Bailey. They could shock me and do that. I'm sure that's a possibility, but I feel like if they move up in the first round, it's probably going to be for Ruben Bain, if I had to guess.
100%. 5 bomb from Virgil. He says, "Happy Easter, guys. Go Chiefs and get Bain." Hopefully, I think Bain is I don't. First of all, appreciate the $5 donation, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
But I think Bain is kind of a polarizing thing right now, and I wouldn't have thought Bain would be that polarizing, but a lot of fans do not like him. Like
It's
you said, they're on the
polarizing,
arm league.
But I feel like there's a lot of Bain or bust people out there, too.
But they don't like the fact that you may have to trade up for him. They don't want to give up
That's
anything
just
else.
how
to
it
go
is,
get
dude.
him.
Yeah, that's just how it's going to be.
Well, I think if you want Bain, you're going to have to move up. Charles, what do you think?
I would say you probably will have to move up. I think there are going to be some people who are high on him. I know he's kind of like an outlier with the arm length thing. I just watch the way he plays, man. Um, I'm trying to remember one of my friends, Doug Farr. I think he compared him to some famous boxers, right? Who had some arm length questions.
Tyson, maybe.
I mean, there's been a couple of them, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think right. It's all about how like you use your skills, your God-given gifts, right? Like, and he knows how to use them, man. I mean, people were blowing him up for like his bend and his ability to get, around the corner at his pro day and stuff, right? And get low, right? But like that stuff's like actually impressive because he does it on film too, right? And that's how he wins. So.
Yeah.
If you think about it, though, he's really good at the run. He is not a liability in the run game. He was maybe one of the best run defenders at edge in the entire NCAA this past year, maybe even years before that. The thing about it is, if you look back at like past bust per se, we'll use that word, which I guess it's still on the fence here, but a lot of people would say FAU's been a bust here
For sure. Yeah.
He's kind of been a liability in the run game. I remember a Raiders game where they just come right through and just put him on his back, and they ended up chunking off like an 80-yard touchdown or something like that, 60-some-yard touchdown. I don't think you get that with Bain, so I believe he's on the field more often and could generate more of a pass rush. I think he develops a little bit better than what you was going to see on FAU. It felt like they didn't want FAU to use what he did in college. They tried to make him something different than he was. Kind of felt the same way with Omar Norman lot this year.
Yeah, they got him fat and got him hurt. That was crazy.
Fat and sassy.
What were they thinking?
Breads and
everyone thinks that's like an intentional thing, like that was like on the Chiefs that they did it. I don't know that that's necessarily true.
Oh, really?
And I'm not trying to play like the company line here or something, but like you got to think about too sometimes like these guys coming into the NFL, coming into a new like weight plan and program and stuff like that, it doesn't always like go the way that is planned or the way that you would hope.
That's fair.
And sometimes like there's some adjustment that needs to go on. Like around the time that like he got hurt, I think he was at a way better weight and look and physique than he was when he was like in training camp and people were kind of making some comments about it. But I think there's like that period of adjustment for these guys, and I think a guy like ONL should get a little grace, and I don't think that was all entirely on the team or the player. I think it was kind of just happened.
I think it kind of looked as though they were doing that. Maybe it was just optics because of the way they handled the Mike Pennell situation coming out of camp. It kind of felt like they got rid of Pennell because we don't need that. We drafted Omar Norman Lott, who's not this guy, and he was just so happened to gain some weight.
Hey, I would like to see it Charles's way, though. I would feel a lot better about it if it wasn't them making a conscious decision to do that, because that's a terrible one. Mickey Moonrock in the chat says, would Charles consider the Chiefs draft a failure if they don't get Baines, Bailey, or Reese? So he's saying if you don't get one of those top edge rushers, are you considering it a bad draft?
Man, I just don't envision Reese as an edge rusher. To be honest,
not on our team.
I think he's like an off-ball linebacker who can play like Sam for you and play.
Dude, we never even let Leo rush properly.
I know exactly.
Happened.
Yeah. I honestly think Sonny Styles is the better like pass rusher, like edge type candidate of the two Ohio State linebackers. If I'm being frank, like I think he has more to offer in terms of his pass rush toolkit than Reese does. I think Reese does a really great job though blitzing from like the linebacker position off ball. Like, man, that guy can shoot a gap, and he can close pretty quickly.
Yeah, Sonny Styles is a beast. So I'm with you. I don't think the Arvell Reese thing is going to happen. I just don't see it.
But do you all consider the draft a failure if they don't get one of these top dudes?
No.
I don't think so. But I do think you have to be very like cognizant and aware. At pick 29, I took TJ Parker in this mock draft that I did on Sunday. And I think that the reason for that was, he was the sixth, edge rusher off the board, not including Reese. Including Reese.
I feel like there's a
sixth guy off the board. That's getting like danger zone territory. And I know that like there's a lot of guys that are considered like Chiefsy, like Steve Spagnuolo prototypes, right? You said Denny Sutton, Jackus. Like there's a lot of these guys who can kind of fit that mold, who are probably day two guys, right? Second round, third round types. But man, I mean, you look at like the hit rates over the years for like pass rushers that are kind of in that
Yeah.
range, and it gets a little dicey. And I just don't know that the Chiefs are going to want to risk that. And you get to pick number 29, and if you're in a scenario like that, that's when you got to kind of think about, okay, who am I going after here? Who's my guy?
Zion Young or somebody.
Right.
Yeah, because I feel like there's like a hard line too, right around Danny Dennis Sutton.
Yeah.
Like after him, it falls off majorly.
Steve, we've
in
been
this
saying since
draft.
January
Yeah.
that I think by the end of draft night, you could have 6, 7 defensive ends taken in round 1, because once you get past that 7th or 8th edge rusher, it falls off a cliff.
I've definitely seen
massively.
some scenarios where Akis is getting in the back end of the first round. So
Dude,
if that tells you anything.
Hearing
Yeah.
that, there's been a lot of steam with Malachi Lawrence out of UCF is actually coming in. It's wild to think of it, but
It's a premium position, though. It's just like those tackles, bro. Like they could
premium.
all go higher than people think. Like literally.
Got to do it. Well, you guys want to bring up a to Z sports mock draft simulator and do a little mock?
Yeah. After this question from Scott Crosser, he says, "What do you think about defensive end Curry from Ohio State? Caden Curry."
I really like his tape. I like him. I think, he kind of reminds me of the other Ohio State defensive end who came out last year, Sawyer, a little bit. Like he gives me those vibes. I like him as kind of a late round play. I just don't see the Chiefs like really waiting on edge rushers. Like I think they're going to have their solution pretty early on in the draft, and then I don't know that it's a position that they're going to double up on because, you got a couple of guys who are on the roster right now who I feel like you don't want to set them up to fail, right?
Right.
And exhaust a bunch of draft capital on this position, and then what if Felix comes out and like has the best camp and preseason of his
What
life?
if he gets
and
it
looks
together?
good?
Yeah.
Like what if he finally puts it together and then you're sitting around and you're like, okay, do I have to keep 5 or 6 defensive ends? Can I afford to do that?
Right, and you just got Ashton Gelati last year, who I thought was coming on pretty nicely at the end of the season. So, like you said, you can kind of put those guys in a bad position by drafting too many. And like I said, I feel like there's a hard line kind of around Danny Dennis Sutton where it just drops off dramatically. But I do think Caden Curry and maybe Nadami Tucker might be like some fun ones to throw a dart at late in the draft, just to see.
Man, there's a kid, Central Michigan. I think his name's Feldman, Michael Feldman, I think is his name. He's a Spags type. Like he's a guy, and you look at his numbers and his production. I know it's in like, the lesser quality competition, but still, man, like this guy, he's a beast. I like his tape. I think that like if they're looking to like grab an extra edge rusher in the late rounds at like 210 or whatever the other pick is, I think 176, right? Is that their other late pick? That's the one that I would be going after.
Let's go, man. A couple more from the chat real quick, and we'll get to that draft. We're going to do a mock draft on the AtoZ Sports platform, so that way you guys can check it out. And y'all definitely need to go check it out yourself because it is definitely one of the better ones, in my opinion. Might be my favorite one so far. Fred with the 2-bomb says, do you think we're trading up? Fred, we talked about this a little bit. I do think that's a bigger possibility than trading back. Right now, I would have to say sitting at 9 and taking the pick is probably the highest probability just because. But I do think anything after that, it's got to be trading up to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think up more than back.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can all agree on that.
I think up is a possibility, but I also look at like these top 30 visits that they're doing with a lot of these guys who are projected to go higher. And it makes me kind of think about like the Trent McDuffie situation, right? They were waiting around and then like all of a sudden they're seeing McDuffie drop and they're like, okay,
Yeah,
this guy's going to be around for us. Like we can go up and get him, right? So one, I think they're preparing for the possibility to trade up, but also just preparing for the possibility that like one of these guys might just drop to them and they might want to just know about him and know like, hey,
right,
is this a guy that we want to take, right?
And I think a lot of people think trade up. They automatically think trade up from 9, but I think trading up from 29 or 40 is a bigger possibility than that.
Absolutely. Look, we said the tackle that we were just talking about, Caden Proctor. If he was to fall to, say, 21, 22, the Chiefs had brought him in on top 40 or top 30, maybe they jump up and grab him. They feel comfortable. They talked with him. I wanted to bring this up really quick before we take Barrett's. What player – well, let's go ahead and take Barrett first. He says, what player would make you punch – would make you punch your no-no square?
Look, man, so Charles might not
40?
Charles might not know about this, but I had predicted that the Chiefs were going to take Jalen Royals last year, and then they went up and took him, so I kind of I got excited, so I got up and did like the DX suck it thing, and I accidentally smacked myself in the nuts last year. So that's what he's referring to here, I think. But who's going to get you that excited at pick 40? That's a good question.
Excited in a good way.
It's got to be in a good way. It's got to be a good way.
In a slap your nut in a celebration kind of way.
Maybe what we were just talking about a little bit. Somebody gets somebody kind of slides down the board, and the Chiefs grab like a top 25 player at number 40. That could get you fired up.
I'll give you one. Caleb Banks out of Florida. Like that would remind me. That would remind me of like Chris Jones. You know, where the Chiefs ended up getting Chris Jones. And, I'd feel a little uncomfortable taking like Banks at like 9 or 29, even though I think he's like a really, really talented player and the stats might not be there. And there's the health questions with the foot. But man, if he's someone you feel like the health checks out, the talent is immense. And big guys like that, they just don't move. They don't move like that.
I would agree with that one too, because I actually think the Chiefs would take him at 29 potentially, because I mean they're the type of team, they don't, even when people have medical issues or things like that, the Chiefs tend to not care that much about that kind of stuff. Like it's like they almost always take the guy that has an injury history because they're just like, oh well, he's fine. Or
the
like
Chiefs
whatever,
could do that at 29 for sure.
I think so.
I honestly think that Caleb Banks is going to slide out of the first. I think that foot injury's too. He's had too many health things. I think he's coming out of the first round.
But
so I think
Charles,
that's a good answer by Charles, because if he does follow the first, maybe he does slide to 40.
Yeah, and he's a big dude. That type of injury scares you with those types of guys, right?
It's like, injury.
True.
He was injury riddled.
Plus, what he's known for is his quick first step, right? To me, I've said that he kind of reminds me of like Javon Dexter if he didn't have the slow ass first step.
Also out of 40.
So yeah, definitely that could hurt him a little bit, but we'll see. Mike, let's go ahead and bring up this mock draft.
Well, first,
man.
I wanted to bring this up. Charles,
what you got?
On March 30th, scroll down here. 2 prospects not getting enough buzz for each Chiefs position of need. Okay. Scrolling down to edge, look at the second name, Michael Heldman, CMU. Charles, I'm telling you, brother, we're on the same page here. Like I was on him about a week ago, and I was like, bro, we gotta like take a stronger look at him. He gotta give you a little Max Crosby vibes.
Yeah, his tape is good, and I mean he's got the size and the length that Spags likes. I just think it'd be a really good fit.
He really would. Let me see if I can get this up on the screen here. We'll do a quick mock. Let me see. With 3 people on here, I don't know how this is going to work today.
There's actually a thing for it. It says shared screen with guests, bro. So you just bring up the thing, and we can click that, and we're good to go.
Okay. Hold up. Here it comes. We're going to share.
Boom. Let's do this.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Look.
There we go.
Okay, let me zoom it into a little bit. I want to make sure everybody can see it nice and good out there with those old ass eyesight we got going. Let's see what's up. Okay, I think we can all see that. Can we all make it out on the screen? Let's all find the arrowhead, shall we?
And you did put the link to this generator,
I
right?
did. I threw it in the chat, and I'll put it in. I'll post a link to it in the description, and I'll do a comment. So we'll get the link up to A to Z to this one. We're going to leave all this as it goes, if you guys want, unless y'all want to change this over here.
I'm
Charles,
okay with leaving it standard there.
Just go with the AI standard behavior here.
You might want to put it on like fast on the draft speed. I tend to like it go a little quickly, though. I mean, it depends. If we want to make some trades, we might want to put it on normal. It's,
let's ask. Do you guys want to do trades? Or you just want to sit and not make any trades? That way we just get through it.
Yeah,
let's just go no trades. How about that? It's hard to predict picks, let alone trades.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
We'll just see. And it gives more picks for the peeps. If we're trading them all the way for Ruben Maine, it's going to be very
the most important question we got to ask, guys, we want light mode or we want dark mode?
Dark mode.
Where do I change that?
So if you look the upper right-hand corner, you see?
Ooh, there we go. Yes. That's way more sexy. Let's roll.
If I had one, look, Charles, take this to the people at A to Z. This is coming from a guy that is obsessed with mock drafts. I've been doing this for years. I've been scouting players for years. The number one thing that kills me is having to use specific people's big boards. If you guys could integrate to where we could upload our own big boards and draft off of that, that would be killer. And I would actually pay for that feature. Just letting you know.
It's I'm telling you, it's something that we're thinking about, for our 2027 iteration, and the biggest feedback that we've got is that people want it to be more customizable. They want to be able
Yes.
to put their own imprint on it, and that's one of the ways that they want to do that. They want to use their own big board,
Maybe
draft off of that.
Yes, maybe you have a separate feature. I don't know if it could be included, but it's like an interactive big board where you put all the players, and then people can drag and drop their players in, and then they can use that inside the draft. That would be pretty sick. Hire me; I'll take royalties if you use it. I appreciate it, brother. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's just it's a whole different ballgame when it comes to like actually like collecting data from people and like then taking that data and putting it into the simulator.
Sure.
So it's going to take some different structure with what we have right now to like implement a feature like that. But again, it's something we're talking about. I mean, we're already like well on our way to iterating and making changes. And
dude, it's a great. I like it. I think it's a great simulator, to be honest. It's tough to score high on. I'll give you that. Like,
We're going to do it.
dude, I think a C on this one is better than an A+ on PFF because
Well,
to be
PFF,
honest,
you just pick the players they want you to pick, and they're going to give you an A+,
that's it.
right?
here's the thing about the scoring situation. And, I mean, what I tell people, I get late into the draft and like, I'm going to pick the players I like, regardless of where they're ranked or like
Right.
what they're scored. And, that's probably going to get me a lesser grade, but like, that's the experience I want out of it. Some people want to go for like the gamified, getting like the best possible score they can. And that's what's fun about mock drafts for them. So we want them to be able to have that experience, but like, it's not going to lessen the value of your mock draft if you get like a C+ for taking like Michael Eltman at like pick number 210, right? Like,
right.
Hey, if you take him in the second round at pick 40, though, you get an F on it.
You never know yet.
Hey, I got an idea.
Grade. Those edge
Idea number
rusher,
2.
that positional premium. So how the grading system works, it's kind of like 3-tiered. There's like positional premium, then there's like rank versus where you pick that player, and then there's like the team needs weight. So if you look at like the needs under each individual team, like how those are graded in our system, and where the team needs are ranked at.
So for example, your team needs here. You've got the Chiefs with corner, edge, tight end, defensive tackle, wide receiver, corner again. Are you guys are these in order of how you guys think the Chiefs' needs are? So you think the tight end is more important than the wide receiver?
It's not necessarily in like cornerback being like it's not necessarily in order, but those are just like the top 5 ranked team needs in the system. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Maybe you can have a toggle on and off switch for AtoZ grades, and that way you don't feel so bad taking your favorite player at pick 40.
Shut up and start the draft.
Okay, let's start the draft. I'm sorry, I'll quit giving you feedback on this. You're not here to hear my feedback.
Make your own.
Mock draft. I'll make my own. No,
Leave him alone.
This one's too good.
All
I'm
right,
sure
let's go.
Charles would like the feedback. This is the point.
We love the feedback, man.
All right, here we are. We're sitting here with Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, Jordan Tyson, Spencer Fano, Mekhi Lemon, Jermon McCoy. I mean, we could kind of take a little bit of whatever we want.
This
right here, right?
is the nightmare scenario I think Charles alluded to earlier.
Honestly, for me in this one, I would probably go with Caleb Downs. Would probably be like where I would lean. Maybe Jordan Tyson if I felt a little bit better about his pre-draft process and his injuries. I feel like his tape is awesome and that he could.
It's crazy.
Honestly, we could look back at this draft and he could be the guy who's the best receiver to come out of it. I wouldn't be shocked if that happens. Mekhi Lemon is another guy who's popular, I think, at this pick. I wouldn't hate the Sonny Styles pick, but man, I just don't know that the Chiefs are going to spend number 9 on a linebacker. That would be, especially one like be a different scenario if you didn't have your Mike linebacker right now and Nick Bolt, but you got that guy.
Right.
So like Sonny Styles is either going to play, a Sam linebacker and like practically never be on the field, or he's going to play Will linebacker and get Drew out of his spot. And that doesn't feel right. I don't know.
Yeah. To me, the linebacker is kind of like corner where it's just like the positional value is not there for me to take it at number 9. I just can't do it. But Caleb Downs, I feel like me and Mike have talked about this a lot. We said there's like 3 true blue chip prospects in this draft, and that's Jeremiah Love, Reuben Bain, and then Caleb Downs. So if one of those are there, you have to think about it, right? Like automatically. Now that we've got K9 in the house, I don't know if we have to think about Jeremiah Love as much, but I think if Caleb Downs or Reuben Bain's there at 9, it's almost like a no-brainer.
Okay, so you guys want to take Caleb Downs. That's what I'm hearing. This would definitely be a spot where I would look. I would at least call Dallas and be like, hey, if you guys want Jermon McCoy, Miami might take him at number 11. You might want to come get him. Who knows? But if we don't trade, I'm with you guys. Caleb Downs, the best player on my board. He's the number 1 player on my board. I think this is a steal right here.
Well,
Spags can probably do a lot with him.
Take a look at your trade offers tab. You got 4 right now. You might have the trade offer from Dallas that you don't even know about.
Oh, Miami
you got Miami
wants to come up.
You got Miami wanting to come up.
What's Miami?
No,
wanting
Dallas.
to do here?
Dallas has said we've not doing it. We're not going
Let's
back to the 20s.
Let's entertain Miami real quick. What do we got?
Well, Miami says they'll give us pick 11 and pick 75, which is fine. They're not ripping nobody off or nothing there.
No, that's fair.
So look, let's project who they take then. Before you take it says corner.
Sonny
edge.
Styles.
There's not an edge here, but they could take Sonny Styles and they could take McCoy, but I feel like maybe McCoy falls to 11. Cincinnati linebacker was number 1 on their board. Sonny Styles
they could be jumping Cincinnati for Sonny Styles.
Sonny Styles.
Or they could be going after Caleb Downs, actually.
Or
yeah.
Alternatively, offensive tackle on the board. Spencer Fano's there.
Yeah.
Could be jumping up knowing that Cincinnati needs an offensive tackle.
Okay, you guys let me know. Do you want to trade or not? We said we wasn't taking trades, but if you want to take a trade, I'll take the Miami trade.
Let's see what happens. Let's try the Miami trade. Let's see what.
Yeah.
Let's see
Okay.
what the,
We have to
the
use
AI
the
does.
feature. We got to use the feature.
Okay, let's accept it.
We're showing the people how it works.
They took Jordan
Okay, they
Tyson.
took Jordan Tyson.
Okay.
Interesting.
And McCoy did
Interesting.
come off the board. I kind of had a feeling, but now I feel way more comfortable.
But now
taking
you
Caleb
just gained
Downs.
pick 75 and got Caleb Downs, brother.
Yeah.
So this is a scenario where I think if you trade back like that, you instantly come up here and try to get Kenyon Sadiq to pair up. No, I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my God! This guy. Well, it's going
I'm
to be
just
tough
kidding.
for us to trade up.
I mean, that's what I
because
would do, but we don't have to do all that.
These picks are flying, so this is going to be really hard to try to come up.
Caleb Downs.
I'll say let's take Caleb Downs and move
we
on.
We won't trade up any. We'll just we'll entertain the trade offers we get, but we don't have to trade up.
Okay.
Again, the nice thing is if we get to a spot where someone comes off the board, we can always, go back a pick, pause it,
and try
make
to
the trade.
Yeah, we're gonna make Brett Beach look stupid today. Okay, we'll say Brett. Why didn't you use the AtoZ sports?
Why didn't you use the go back a
You
pick?
could have hit the go back button, you idiot.
Dude, he would still be smashing that button right now trying to get DK Metcalf.
Yeah, he's wore that button out.
I swear to God, I didn't mean to take McCall Hardman.
Here's what I'll do. I'll pause it ever so often. So Sadiq come off the board at 16. Okay. Is there anybody? I love the feature here where you guys let us see the big board.
Yeah, some don't do
PFF
that.
does not allow you to do this. So if you want to make a trade, you don't even know who's on the board when you're
Yeah,
trading.
you're
It's
just
a blind
blindly
trade.
trading.
Peter Woods, I really like that. You're projected at number 19, so he can come off the board at any point. Keldrick Falk is a Spags guy, and I think a lot of Chiefs Kingdom would break their TVs in half. He's just not very popular.
I can't do it.
Steve is one of the guys leading
I'm right there
the
with you.
charge.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would rather have Zion Young than Keldrick Falk. I mean, that's just where I'm at with it. And no shade to Keldrick Falk. I think he's a good football player, but it's just he's not exciting.
Do we love Peter Woods enough, though, to kind of make a trade up? You did get a free pick out of the deal. I don't know if there's anybody up here I'd want to trade up for. I'm not trading up for Keldrick Falk. Terrell's not that impressive to me. KC Concepcion, there's too many wide receivers in this draft.
I will say with Caleb Banks and Lee Hunter on the board, I don't feel like I need to trade up for Peter Woods. But that's just me.
I think we can let it ride. I think we
Okay.
can let it ride.
Let's let it ride. Resume it. And he come off the board next pick. Let's see. So, I mean, you can kind of, like you were saying, you can kind of look, and if you use your logical lizard brain here, you can kind of figure out how, like, some of this is going to work out. So, Casey's on the clock at 29. We have taken Caleb Downs, Banks, McDonald, Ty Simpson, Omar Cooper, TJ Parker, Cassius Howe, Blake Miller is the top big board guys here.
Here's one of the things you got to think about, though, right? So now you got Miami, pick number 30. They need a cornerback, and that's one of their top needs. They didn't take one. They moved up.
They took Jordan Tyson.
Right? So
Wait, I don't even have to do that. I just click their name.
Yep.
This is a beautiful feature.
Yeah.
So then, okay, they took Jordan Tyson. So, you look at the board, what's the next cornerback on the board, right?
Your next corner
Chris
is Chris Johnson at 38, Colton
Johnson.
at 39.
And Colton Hood.
So do you feel good about those two players knowing that, like, it's going to be a little bit before you come back on the clock? Am I going to take, defensive tackle, invest more in the defensive line, take an edge rusher, and come back to the cornerback spot, or am I going to take my cornerback before Miami, take a Chris Johnson, take a Colton Hood at 29, knowing that like they're probably looking at that cornerback spot?
To me, I feel like if you don't take an edge rusher in the top 40, you're shooting yourself in the foot in this draft, in this particular draft.
Same.
I do feel like there is way more value in the cornerbacks later than like edge rusher. So
I think who was their two highest on the board right there? Was it Chris Johnson and Colton Hood?
yeah, Colton Hood.
I don't have Brandon Cisse, Abney, Pons. I don't got those guys too far behind. Dalen Everett from Georgia. They're not that far behind for me. But I'm with you. If you don't get a defensive end, you're kind of hung out.
Kind of hamstring yourself a little bit because obviously, I mean, I don't think it's just the fans that think we have to do something about the pass rush.
So
It's
TJ
an
Parker,
obvious, right? Yeah, they know this.
TJ Parker is my number 4 guy. And he would be. It's Bain, Reese, Bailey, Parker. That's your top 4. He is on the board right now. Charles took him already once. Charles,
I'd take him again, man.
Was
I
that
like him a lot.
fulfilling for you?
I like him a lot. Look, he had a bit of a down year this year
Yeah.
comparatively, but since I think 2023, he's got the most pressures besides Bain and Bailey. Like he can get it done. And again, like saying high floor run defender. Okay, you know what the floor is, right? Like you know that you're at least going to be getting what Steve Spagnuolo wants. And then he's got just a filthy long arm technique, man. Like there's going to be some NFL players who struggle with that.
Yes.
I think if you have that one like killer move, it reminds me of like the 2-hand cross chop that like Tamba had that was just like filthy, and the guys just couldn't.
Yeah, right.
They couldn't. They couldn't handle that swipe. And then for Parker, he's got that with the long arm. So I would be 100% for grabbing Parker.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Parker's got a good Euro step. I think he's got a good like club rip cross chop, like you said. He's played anywhere from a wide 9 to a 4-eye up and down that board. The one thing I had a little bit of a knock on him was I said his burst could get a little better. It's not super elite. But I've heard people compare this dude to like Bradley Chubb. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I'll say that I do like this pick at 29, and I honestly don't even know if Parker falls to 29.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm just going to throw my 2 cents in.
You're going to want Omar Cooper Jr.
No, I would love to have
I
Omar
thought
Cooper
you
Jr.,
loved
but
Omar
no, I'm
Cooper.
taking an edge rusher before that because
Okay.
Kind of the same situation with like the corners. I feel like there's some wide receivers that are sneaky later in the draft too.
Yeah, same.
Edge rusher, I think you go ahead and you get it while you can.
So we're taking TJ Parker.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go. Let's roll. Okay, so Chris Johnson did go, but it was Dallas coming up to take him at the end of the first. I love going back and seeing who people took. So instead of taking the corner here, they took Ty Simpson, which is great. Chris Johnson, you got to get that 5th-year option, baby. What are you doing if you're not getting the 5th-year option? Look, and that is what I like to call good insight by a mock draft simulator, because others, I won't say the name again, but it's 3 letters. They'll have people come up and take like a center. And I'm like, nobody needed the 5th-year option that hard on a center when you had 3 quarterbacks on the board. But okay, so we've got Cassius Howe, R. Mason Thomas. Big run on edges, guys, just like we said. This is the way it goes. Christian Miller, who I kind of like. We've got an interior
Dude,
lineman.
Omar Cooper almost fell to us this pick, bro.
This would have been a play where
That
if
would've been
Brett Veach
wild.
went from 40
He
to
would've
like
traded up.
38, I would have traded him.
That might be one of the ones where you want to use the go back a pick. No, I'm just kidding.
Good. Do you guys want to do it? Do you want to do it?
No.
I don't
I
have to do
think the interesting conversation here, a couple of guys you were talking about before, we were talking about defensive tackle. I mean, Caden McDonald's sitting there.
Right.
Lee Hunter's sitting there at 40. And then cornerback, right? You got Brandon
on
right
the
there.
board.
Cisse's there. Keith Abney's there. You move up.
Pons is still on the board.
Pons, yeah. And then there's the wide receivers. You still got a couple of
Chris
good wide
Bell,
receivers.
bro.
Chris Bell, a
Dude.
couple good offensive tackles.
Yeah,
here,
the tackles
I mean,
too. This is a embarrassment of riches here for the Chiefs at 40, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of guys here that this almost frees up the first 2 picks to do whatever you want, because we've broken down all these players, and like it seems like every single position there's still quality players there. So it's like no matter what combination you really get them, not that big of a deal.
So I was thinking about this the other day. We'll talk about wide receiver for a second because Chris Bell's right there. So there's not a whole lot of smoke about Chris Bell to the Chiefs, But if any of the rumors are true that the Chiefs tried to get AJ Brown in a trade before the Eagles got him, if they were interested in trying to get him again, would that not be like the closest thing you could get?
Yes, but the injury kind of makes you a little nervous at 40, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I was kind of wondering if there's anything to that.
It's one of those things where if you hear like a top 30 visit come out with Chris Bell because of the knee injury,
That's true.
when you can start feeling that maybe there's some.
Have the Chiefs taken a top 30 with anybody on the board right now?
As far as I'm aware, no.
No. I'm
not
seeing
anyone who's like directly in
Right.
this range.
Would you consider at pick 40 an Eli Stowers? Since we lost Sadiq, and I believe after Stowers, it does drop off quite a bit, in my opinion.
I actually like the tight end depth this year, and
Oh.
frankly, given what the Chiefs need there right now, which is I think just solid blocking. I mean, Kelsey's not getting any younger, obviously, but like between Kelsey and Noah Gray, you've got two reliable receiving targets. I know Noah Gray didn't have a great season last year, but up to this point, he has been reliable in terms of his hands and so on. You get a guy who is probably maybe a better blocker coming out and can develop as a receiver. I like the kid out of Stanford, Roush, a little bit later. But then there's also a kid from Indiana, a kid from Michigan, Bredesen, and I think Nowakowski is the tight end out of Indiana, who are more like blocking, like primary tight ends. I think, those are the guys that they're probably going to be looking into. And then, you can't forget about the kid out of Clemson that was basically a redshirt last year for the Chiefs. I know they're still really high on him as a receiver.
Oh, Bredingstone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like, I really like John Michael Gillenborg down late. I think he's pretty intriguing.
Local Kansas City guy, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like
for
that.
sure. Yeah, okay, so you guys are out on Eli Stowers. You know what's
I think
funny?
so.
I actually think that Stowers could be a surprise round one pick when it's all said and done. That
mean,
is the
potentially.
wildest thing I've ever said, but I kind of feel it.
He's one of those guys who there's like some really varying
He
opinions on
tested
him.
so well.
He did. He's a really talented athlete. It's one of those guys that I feel like probably could have played wide receiver,
Right.
being that he was a tight end, right?
87-inch vertical at the combine.
Teams that are looking for like a primary receiving tight end, I think are going to fall in love with him. I know Denver's been looking at him pretty heavy.
Yeah,
Well, usually, I mean, if you look at the trends in the drafts, usually when one tight end comes off the board, there's one not too far after that, usually.
yeah.
You will see that. I mean, just like where the Bears reached on Colston Loveland, and they, immediately turned around and got, what's his name, at Indianapolis, Tyler Warren, like back to back. They do that. So it could happen, Mike. I don't know if how
Okay,
likely
so
it
where do
is,
you guys want to go here at pick 40 then? Do you guys want to take the corner? Do you want to take Cisse? Or are we looking more at one of the tackles, or like Charles mentioned, Caden McDonald? Now, I do think Tonga kind of does a little bit of what Caden McDonald does, but maybe he's not as good against the run.
I wonder if you want some like redundancy there, right? Like,
Right.
You kind of had Mike Pennell and Derek Nottie be those kind of like two,
Right.
run stopping
You don't
guys
have
for
that
you.
right now because Omar Norman-Lott's not that guy.
Yeah. And that can allow him to free up to, play behind Chris Jones more and do more of the pass rushing stuff.
Caden
So
McDonald will absolutely be a first-round pick, too. I don't think there's any chance he slides to round 2. I think he's in first round. He's just too good. Do you guys want to go Caden McDonald?
And I mean, you look at the probabilities for plus 10, plus 20, and plus 30 picks. There is 0% chance that he will be available within the next 30 picks.
Yeah, we picked 74 and 75, so it's not happening.
So, I feel like in terms of value, you can't get much better than Caden McDonald here. The drop-off at offensive tackle past Blake Miller and Max, I think, is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's one I think to consider heavily. I think no matter what, I think the trenches are probably where you're going to have to go with this pick, given this board.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was at. I was going to say, if you don't take Caden McDonald, I would take Max Ionacher here. Blake Miller's good too, don't get me wrong, but I do like Max a little bit more. And I was right there with you. I was getting ready to say it right before you did. The drop-off after those two is pretty significant. So
Okay.
I'm okay with Cade
You
McDonald
guys,
here, though. I think
let's
the
let
value
Charles,
on
Charles, you're the guest. You make the final decision here. What you want to do, brother?
Look, we've already taken an Ohio State and a Clemson player. Let's go. Let's give Arizona State a little love. Let's take Max.
You want to
Max.
take a
Let's
Honachor?
do
I
it.
like it. Hey, look, round of applause for Charles going out.
I
Going
like
to
it.
the West Coast, dipping his toes in with the Sun Devils. Let's go. Max Honachor. Look at 74-75. Can
Now, hey, let's
back-to-back
pause
picks.
it real quick. Let's pause it.
Oh
real
God, let's pause quickly. Oh God, that was fast. Charles
Yeah.
said, "Let's put it on mega speed here."
quick. right.
is that
Let's
Jeremy
get it- let's
Bernard
get
still
it
on the
zooming.
board?
No
So we
way,
got-
Jeremy Bernard's on the board at 65. Bro.
Hey, you're
60,
trading up hard
65.
right now.
So, do you trade your 75 and maybe one of those other
Yeah,
picks
you've
and
got
move up
74
one?
and 75 together now because of the trade.
Yeah.
That's
Or,
true.
are you looking at you got the tight ends off the board, but
Dominic
Max
Orange
Ford-
is there. We didn't take Cade
Dominic
McDonald.
Orange.
Yeah. Big citrus.
Hey, you guys are just telling everybody this is a deep draft after we said it sucked all off season.
I
what we're doing.
don't think it's necessarily a deep draft, but I do think there are specific players that could be a great value at certain point. Like Dominic Orange. I think if you're wanting a run stuffer, why not?
I'm just curious if we offered 74 for 65. It says that we got to have at least 646 points, or they won't take the trade. So you would physically to give. Well, not physically. You would have to
Literally.
You would literally. I'll get it right. 656. You'd have to give up 176
Okay.
to come up to get Jeremy Bernard.
I wouldn't be mad at that. I do think he'd be
They took it.
a great player.
Let's do it. Hey, I like Jeremy Bernard. I think what he offers for you is a potential that if Rashee Rice just doesn't get his shit together this year, or he has more of his problems, Jeremy Bernard gives you a Rashee Rice light kind of feel. He is actually my wide receiver number. Good night. It's pretty high. Wide receiver number 7. I'm high on Jeremy Bernard. A lot of people don't love him because he don't do anything like exceptionally great, but I think he does everything well. Like, I think he's got a very
He's solid.
high
Yeah.
floor, in my opinion. If you guys would indulge me into taking Jeremy Bernard here so I can be happy for the rest of the night, that would make my day.
I like Bernard, and I mean, look, if you want to look at some of his stats and see like what that looks like, you can click on that tab. But we're here at so if you click,
Will you
the
guys look and see
trends-
what happened? We took Bernard and then Antonio Williams, Ted Hurst,
I love Antonio Williams too.
a
Yeah.
big run right there. So, okay, since I took that pick, you guys can take these other ones. I don't want to, step on the toes here. We've got Caleb Downs, TJ Parker, Max Hunter, Jeremy Bernard. That is a monster draft so far through 65 picks. I don't see how anybody can be angry
And
at
there's
that.
still some really good players on the board right now.
Right.
I mean, I can't help but like look at Jacob Rodriguez right there at like
Yeah, I've
58.
been seeing them too, and I'm like, what?
That's where you would feel comfortable taking a linebacker too.
Dude, I
like
think
you mentioned
that's a
earlier,
killer
don't know about a
replacement.
linebacker that early in the draft, like in the first round, and I'm right there with you. But right now, the value on Jacob Rodriguez is crazy. Mike, click the stats tab on Rodriguez, and let's see what they say about him.
Which one is it?
It's the one all the way over at the
This one?
edge there. If you click on that, boom. So you can see the mock draft trends. You can see
Oh my
all the
God.
stats.
Charles,
you can also
you know
see his
what?
athletic profile.
I've been clicking this to see this, but I didn't even pay attention you could do this.
Yeah, man, they
can
got it all. On
Check
here.
his combine. You can see the athletic composite. So
Dude.
our own metrics. So you can see that he was 75th percentile in the speed score, 85th percentile in the agility score down there.
Insane.
Yeah.
Deceased over
Such a-
here.
such
Didn't
a
know you
great
could even
tool.
see that.
I like it.
Love it. Dude, absolutely love that one. Daggone AtoZ is just out here just innovating.
Killing the game.
Just killing
Killing
it.
the game.
You're almost making my job easier because I put together a spreadsheet of all this shit from October on, and now you guys just going to come in here and swoop in the last minute and take all my work away from me. And I like it.
Next year, you don't have to
It's
work
gonna
so
make
hard.
them. Yeah, it's going to make the mock drafts easier from here on out.
Yeah,
man.
no crap. I'm like, I'll look at my notes. I'm like, what did he do in the combine in the 40 or whatever? And then I look over here and you guys got his what he had for lunch in 5th grade. And I'm like, the dude likes chicken. I'll take Jacob Rodriguez. Right
Shout
here.
out Perry with a 2-bomb real quick. He said Bernard is going to be Jarvis Landry. Hey, if he's
I
like
like that. I
prime
like
Jarvis Landry, I'll take it in a
I
heartbeat.
like that.
Appreciate the 2, Perry. And then right here, guys, I don't know if you're thinking the way I'm thinking, but Jacob Rodriguez has almost got to be the pick here for the value. But if you want to go defensive tackle, Big Citrus is still waiting.
Yeah, you're a big citrus lover.
Well, I'm just saying, I think there is a bit of a drop off after him at that position. Also, Keontae Scott could be a sneaky pick here. I think if we want to pray to the good Lord above here on Easter, on the Resurrection Day, that they don't put Chamari Connor in the slot like they did last year and just let him get torched over and over again.
Yeah, Keontae
Scott could totally do that well.
He's that guy. There's another corner here that I think you guys actually don't have mocked too high, but I was telling people the other day, if he gets out of the second round, I'm going to be very surprised. And that's Dalen Everett out of Georgia.
Right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's a physical press corner, and if you didn't take one at this position and he's on the board, I would almost consider him right here, because if you got him and then maybe paired him with a Chandler Rivers later that could cover the slot, you're Downs, Rivers, and Dalen Everett would be a monster 2021-esque style, like
for sure.
Thing.
I'm a big Devin Moore fan. I mentioned that earlier, but I do think he's a little more raw. Like you might have to work with him a little bit
it does
more.
look like you could probably. What's our next pick here? Oh, here it is. My team's my picks. Look at that. We got 75, 109. Okay, so I don't know if Dalen Everett lasts to 109, but
No, but you know who will be there?
You could still get a Charles Deming somewhere.
There we go,
I
baby.
like him as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and take our boy Jacob Rodriguez in the spirit of
I like that.
moving this shit along. We'll take Jacob Rodriguez.
Plus, you have to appease Mahomes and get a Red Raider. So
Yeah.
Oh, the Red Raider.
he's not going to twist your arm to take Reggie Virgil if you get Jacob
Oh,
Rodriguez.
yeah, he will. He's a Reggie Virgil fool, bro. Okay, we're on the board. Chandler Rivers just went 2 picks before us.
Look at this draft we've put
Dalen
together
Everett's
so
on the
far.
board. Oh, look at it. Look at it. Hey, and Devin Moore and Keontae Scott. Look at that. My God.
So, we've got some decisions to make here at cornerback, it seems.
Hey, but dude, could it have felt any better knowing you need a corner? I mean, come on.
It really couldn't have.
It's as though Charles designed this thing for us. What's he doing underneath the table back here, like preventing people from going?
I'm just in the back end over here, just making sure this mock draft goes well.
He's like, how did David Bailey get on the board at 109? Maybe we should take him. He went to Texas Tech too, coincidence.
Real quick, Mickey in the chat wanting to know what Charles thinks of the RAS score system. Like, do you put a lot of stock into a player's RAS score?
Yeah, we like RAS. I'm a fan. It's definitely valuable. I think any metrics that measure athleticism are valuable. I'll say for the NFL though, the way we've developed our particular scores are to try to quantify things like speed, burst, agility, so on and so forth, because that's what they're looking at for like on-field data now. Like the NFL doesn't really care about your 40-yard dash. They care about like what was your top speed when you're on the field during your senior year, and they're getting that data directly from the schools now. So we try to take the representation of that and quantify that based on these athletic testing and these drills with our metrics, our athletic composite, the speed score, the burst score, and the agility score. And then it's all compared against historical data. So dating back to, year 2000, everything at the combine.
Yeah.
So the way you've got it here, so like, for example, I'm on Dalen Everett, 40-yard dash, 4.38. You've got 91.7. So you're saying he's at basically the 92nd percentile.
Yes.
Does that count every single draft class, or is it just this specific draft class? Does it go back in history?
It goes back to the year 2000. So that's when we start, when the data started getting tracked, I guess.
So you're telling me that Dalen Everett is a 92nd percentile 40, and his speed score is a 91st percentile, and his athletic composite is about an 89. That's insane.
And so the speed score and the burst score in particular those are adjusted for like their height and weight and their BMI.
Gotcha.
So that will tell you the percentile based on like how big they are, right? But yeah, it's been a lot of fun coming up with this stuff and getting these stats out there, and
right.
It helps when you have a decision like this, when you have 3 guys, right? And what can be the difference? Obviously, you're looking at, okay, who can be play in the slot, who can play outside, how fast are they, how much how well did they perform in their senior
Right.
year, right?
Yep.
And those things can carry some weight, specifically for people who are mock drafting. Maybe not so much for the NFL team, but it not only allows you to get to know the player, right, in their pre-draft process, but also, what they were able to achieve and accomplish in the last year.
Right. So when I'm thinking about these three guys here, because, I was looking at these three corners, the one that jumps out to me out of these is Keontae Scott, but I do think he's an older prospect. Is there
25,
is there a spot on here that has their age?
I do think the description sometimes will have their age,
Okay.
but that is one that we don't have in there.
Okay.
I think consistently across
Put that
the board.
on. Write that one down too, Charles. That can be my input.
I will say though, sometimes finding those
That
kids'
way you don't
age is
draft
pretty tough.
Yeah, that way you don't draft Akeem Mesidor, at number 9 because
Right.
So what we're learning is every Miami
it's
player
good.
was a full-grown man beating up on little
no,
children.
yeah, no wonder they were winning. No,
Actually,
but,
I think Indiana had a ton of those too, though.
I think the value pick to me here is Dylan Everett. I think he's actually a little bit better than Keontae Scott.
Yeah.
But
I
do
think
like
Keontae
Scott's
Scott is
tape.
positioned more to the slot
Slot,
only,
yep.
and Dalen gives you an outside option,
Yep.
especially if Christian Fulton stinks and can't get on the field.
Totally
Now-
agree. And like I said,
now,
I like Devin
here's-
Moore, but he's a project.
Here's the question I'm going to pose to you guys. They just signed Kyer Elam, right?
Yes.
He's another guy who's probably more of like an outside only corner, and you've got kind of like 3 of those guys on the roster now, including him, right? And Noel Williams, then fella, oh gosh, why am I
Fulton.
forgetting Fulton? Yeah,
Christian Fulton, yeah. I'll
Yeah,
forget
you
his
have
name
Elam.
too. Don't feel bad. He only
Names
played for like
last season.
2.5 seconds last
He
year.
was pretty good last year though in those games, but
They got Cater Kohu to play the slot kind of thing, so
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good as well. They've done it some to that room.
So a lot of people don't like Kyer Elam because they're like, this guy stinks. Like he's just not adjusting to the NFL. But like, I have a hard time believing that Dave Merritt and them can't at least get what they got out of Jalen Watson with that kid.
I'll say our Pittsburgh Steelers writer Rob Gregson, he's a family friend of the Elams, and he's been telling me that this kid's been working really hard this offseason. Like he knows the opportunity he has ahead of him. He's only 25 years old.
Right.
Like,
Right.
He can turn his career around, and I think he sees Kansas City as an opportunity to do that and to learn from one of the best and the brightest. So, I would have a hard time picking a Dalen Everett, knowing that like that's gonna put a lot of pressure on him. But sometimes that's what you need to rise to the top, right? So I mean, maybe Dalen Everett's the way to go here. Keontae Scott, Cater Kohu's coming off an injury.
I was just getting ready to say that. Maybe if you've got Elam as insurance, Scott can be insurance for the slot. But something tells me it's going to be like prying the last piece of pizza out of my hand is going to be what it's like to get a Spags, not to let Jamari Connor play the slot. Like it's just not going to happen.
Well, look, you draft a safety in the first round. I mean, you're going to have to find somewhere to put Jamari, probably.
Yep, that's what scared me.
Well,
Yeah, because
Man.
they brought in Aloy Gilman, and I mean, he's going to be on the field.
yeah,
Yeah.
true. You could go completely outside of the box here and just grab Mike Washington Jr. and stick him behind K9.
Oh, my
just
gosh.
what a 1-2 punch.
The Chiefs have spoken to Jay Sean Barnum.
They have.
That
They
would be a
have.
double up
They
on
have.
edge. A
I've
lot of people-
actually heard. I mean, I know we just took a Jacob Rodriguez, who's a linebacker. I've heard that some people kind of like Jay Sean as like a Sam linebacker.
Yes, he could do that. I
Off-
think you're right.
I still think maybe we hit corner here.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, when's our next pick? Use that feature. Let's go.
It's
see that.
148.
148.
Okay. Yeah. So what's the probability of
your
Charles
values-
Demings being there at pick 148? Can you look at that right now?
Charles Demings, it says in 30 picks, which we are 170. Let's see, 109. So yeah, we're about. Let's just say 30. 17% chance
17%
Demings will be on the
chance.
board.
So you'd be really rolling the dice if you wanted to grab him, right?
Right, but it's a big reach at this point. I mean,
That's
not
true.
a super big reach. in
Well, I
my
wouldn't
opinion.
take him now, but I'm just saying if you don't take one of the corners here, that's what you would hope for.
Honestly, I think Dalen Everett would be my pick. Again, I think that gambling on Elam and then Christian Fulton to stay healthy scares me more than Kader Kohu and then Jamari Connor.
You can never have enough corners.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
you never have enough corners.
That's why they drafted like 7
Let's
of
go
them.
Dylan Everett. Let's go Dylan Everett and see how it falls after that.
Okay, let's do it.
I made a executive decision. Sorry.
It's cool. Anything to get it moving, you know.
Move it.
Pick 148. We all know who we were supposed to take here, guys. He's right on the screen right
Here
now.
it is. A+, dude.
Hey, Takario, he's actually putting the plus sign in his name before or after both A's in his first name.
I'm just going to go ahead and I'll throw my 2 cents in here, and I'll let you guys talk about this big board. But if it's me right here, especially with what we've picked,
yeah,
Landon Robinson's like a no-brainer for me at this point. Get that defensive tackle.
Oh, your defensive tackle. I didn't see him down there cruising.
I really like his tape, man.
He's a beast,
He's
isn't
a
he?
fun player.
Love
He's a player.
Landon Robinson. He works
I honestly, I'd be surprised if he's on the board right now. He's had a really nice pre-draft process.
Yeah.
I like him. I
He's a
really
monster.
do. If we had not have taken a wide receiver, Jeremy Bernard, by now, Dejon Stribling, I'm big on him. Most people do not love Dejon Stribling, but I like some of his film. I think he's got a lot of sneaky. To me, he's like a Chris Bell if he's healthy. In a way,
Man.
like I see that a little bit.
We were talking about tight ends earlier. That kid out of Houston, Tanner Koziol, he's really good.
That's
man.
a big dude, isn't he? Like 6'7".
Yeah, Koziol is pretty massive, bro. He is 6'7", 247.
You know what's interesting? So we have another tool that is not released to the public yet. Will be coming eventually, I hope, in some form or fashion. But it does have that historical combine data that we've been talking about. And you can actually go back and look and compare different players to former players. One of the players that popped up when I was looking at Tanner Koziol and his numbers was a former Chiefs tight end, one who has a podcast of his own, Mr. Jason Dunn. They're very similar athletes. And, when I think about that, I mean, Jason Dunn, when he came into the league, like really pretty dang good receiver, like blocking wasn't necessarily like his bread and butter, and then came in and become one of the best blocking tight ends in the National Football League. I'm wondering if like Tanner's a guy who can kind of follow in that type of role in those footsteps.
Shout out Jason Dunn, though, another Kentucky boy. Let's roll. Dude, he literally lives 50, 60 miles from us, and we still haven't went to eat barbecue with him, Mike.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
His family has a barbecue place. We got to get up there and eat it. I will say Koziol, Dallin Bentley, a lot of people like Eli Raritan. I think he's got a lot of injuries. Charles mentioned Marlon Klein earlier.
Daquan Wright. He's a good guy. Miles
Joe Royer out of
Kitselman. Kitselman's another Kansas City kid.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Nowakowski, Indiana. There's a few. The Chiefs have been very interested in Dan Villari out of Syracuse. They were at the pro day looking at that. So whatever you guys want to do here, Koziol is a player.
I already cast my vote right off the rip. So
look, Tim Keenan or Landon Robinson, I think defensive tackle right here would be golden. Tim Keenan's probably more of that big like run stopping guy.
He's your 327 run stuffer with a 296 RAS, which may be the worst ever, except for mine. And then Robinson's going to be a freak tester, but the thing is he's undersized. But he gives me a little bit of like he gives me vibes of let me see, like a Turk Wharton-esque style player. With the move.
I don't think he's going to be bad in run defense though.
I think Turk Wharton's kind of like the floor actually for a guy like Landon Robinson. I think the ceiling's way higher though.
I do too. I think he's got the bigger ceiling there between him and Keenan. So I'll take Robinson if that's who you guys want, because I think I like that one.
I'm okay with it.
Let's do it.
Let's go, baby.
I'll stop making executive decisions now.
We got 2 picks on the board.
Making good decisions, man.
Look, I think Charles gets picked 169 right here by himself because it's his thing. So here you go. Man. You want A+ to Cardio?
Mr. A+, man.
Hey, dude. Hey, we get to the hardest part of the draft, and we're like, all right, Charles, it's all you, buddy.
It's all you, brother. Go get yourself an A+ right here. It looks really good.
Let's scroll down a little bit. Let's see who we got kind of in these next couple picks, right? Rayshon Benny, that's a good player right there.
Yeah.
CJ Daniels, Trey Moore. We were talking about Caden Curry earlier.
We haven't looked. Well, yeah, we did draft a Honachor, but we haven't took an interior player. I don't know if the Chiefs will take an interior player, but
we're sitting here at 169. I don't know that I like this board right now for like what I want for the rest of this draft. Like, you know, I'm maybe looking for like a return specialist, maybe a tight end, maybe another
custom feature these in a corner.
Well, okay, so you got two trade offers right now.
Let's look at the trade offers.
Let's see what we got.
We're going to end up with like 12 players in our draft.
Yeah, maybe. Tennessee wants to come up. We're going to fall to 194 and take 251. That's fine. Let me see. And then New England, 198, 247. So it's about the same thing. I'll go for pick 198, pick 194. Should we just let Borgonzi have something here? Should we pay him back?
Let's pay back Borgonzi for taking on
L'Jarius Sneed.
We'll let Borgonzi do it. We added an extra pick. Now we all get an executive decision pick.
Okay.
Charles gets 194. Steve, you can have 210. I'll take 251.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay, so Charles executive pick. He's ready to roll. Here's your wide receiver tight end corner combo.
Let's put running back in there maybe as well.
Okay.
Too. Can we do running back in there?
I've got you in there. Kalon Black, which I absolutely love out of Indiana. He's a guy I like.
Yeah. He's fun. My problem with Kalon Black is like I think if you get another running back in this draft, like he's got to be able to do something in the return game. And Black hasn't. He hasn't done it. He doesn't have that experience.
He's a little older as well.
Convince me why it's okay for Seth McGowan to be at 207.
Yeah, now come on now. We got to fix this one. Our Kentucky boy probably going to go in the top 5 rounds easily.
Yeah, he could be a sneaky pick for somebody.
That's a monster pick. But he's not going to do what Charles just said.
He does have some off-field issues, though. So
he does. He went to prison. He did
spent a little time in prison. Maybe he decided he didn't like it there, and he'll stay in the NFL. Oh, no. Let's see. Well, it's Charles. Charles gets the decision here. You said you were looking for like a return specialist or something, maybe?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find him at this pick. I don't think I'm going to find him at this pick.
No, I don't see it there.
When I'm looking at this board, I mean, I like Eli Raritan. Like, I think he's going to be a really good player.
Besides the medicals scare the hell out of me.
Yeah, and that's like why he's probably available at 194 right now, to be frank.
Yeah, he had like, 2 different knee surgeries.
Yeah. So, and he's a guy like I don't know if I don't think they brought him in. So I can't with good conscience say like that's a guy who's going to be on their radar. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm thinking maybe the kid from Ole Miss, Daquan Wright. He kind of reminds me a little bit of tight end that the Chiefs used to have. Trying to remember his name. Former basketball player,
Jody Fortson.
Yeah, not Jody Fortson. Before Jody Fortson's time, the one who caught the touchdown pass from Dontari Poe.
Demetrius Harris.
Yes, he gives me Demetrius Harris vibes. He's not quite as big, but like he's a pretty good receiver out of the inline position. He's a little bit tougher than you'd expect for his size.
A great value David Njoku or something,
Yeah. I could see Marlon Klein being someone they really like. We mentioned John Michael earlier. That's a local Kansas City kid. Someone that they could definitely fall in love with there.
I think these guys are UDFAs. I think if you were looking here, Miles, Nowoski, Lake McCree, those are about the only ones that probably get drafted, I would think. Man, Charles, you got a tough one here, brother.
I do. Let's put up all again. Let's see what we're looking at here. Okay.
So you got Carmona on the board,
Carmona? Interesting offensive lineman, Interior guy.
I thought that said Fernando Mendoza for a second. I was like, how did he sneak by?
Carmona is kind of interesting because I don't know if the Chiefs are completely sold on Hansen, and I don't know if the fans and even the team wanted to bring back, what's his name this year, but they ended up bringing him back on that 1 year. Yeah. Carmona is an all second team SEC, pretty good. He's been one of the better. Well, it says right here at the bottom, first consecutive All-SC honors for Arkansas since Frank Ragnow. We know how that turned out. So, I mean, that's a decent pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with that one. And, frankly, just following the best available type situation, he does seem to be the best available on this board right now. Out of maybe Rayshon Benny, that might be the one guy I would take ahead of him.
How big is Rayshon? Does it say? Let's see. His athletic. He's 6'3", 298. So he's more along the Landon Robinson, which we just took. So you're right there.
I think we got to go Fernando, guys.
I think Fernando's a good pick, honestly.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he's a good pick. We'll take him.
Yeah.
Steve, you're up at 210, man. You're going to have about the same board.
Actually, I was kind of thinking along the same lines as him, like maybe a specialist type player. Can I see who the wide receivers are available?
Yeah. John Michael Sturdivant, Eric McAllister, Caleb Douglas, Dane Key.
I was kind of looking to see if maybe Kendrick Law had fallen.
I think he is still on the board, maybe. No, doesn't look like it.
No.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he is.
Dang, he's all the way down there, though. Dude, I feel... Or Malik Benson. Malik Benson's...
We're going to take a visit with him virtually.
The Chiefs have shown some interest in him already.
You do realize that Jeremy Bernard is not an X.
Yeah, another local Kansas City guy.
So Malik Benson is an X.
Those are all intriguing to me. Go all real quick. I want to see all, and then we'll.
Now, if you're looking for the specialist type, Caden Wetchen, I think he's a really good guy. And then there's a running back,
Adam Randall.
Yeah, Desmond Reed, I think.
The dude from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think he's a really good return specialist. Definitely someone who'd be on my radar.
I think Eli Heidenreich is a fun idea if you want to go like Chad O'Shea, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker type.
Yeah. I think Chad O'Shea would turn him into an All-Pro. I'll put it out there.
I think
are you going there
with Heidenreich?
Are you going Heidenreich right now?
I don't know, dude. Like I was thinking more Malik Benson or Kendrick Law, but let me see. Go all the way up, please.
Kendrick Law's tape kind of reminds me of like great value Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, dude.
He's not quite as fast. He's not quite as fast. Kendrick Law.
Dude, yes,
he's a yak monster. Like all of his passes came from almost behind the line of scrimmage.
He's even built like Tyreek Hill, like that big, thick lower body.
Didn't they say bench like 500 pounds or something?
Yeah, they claim he can bench 500.
That's insanity. I don't even know if that's true, but all right, man. Let's go. Scroll down just a little bit here on all. Scroll down slowly on all here. I'll just take a quick look.
Sturdivant is a Chiefs fan.
Thad Dixon.
He's not bad either.
Pretty good cornerback.
Jamari Taylor, pretty good running back.
Eric McAllister would be intriguing if he wasn't in trouble all the time. Let's see. Keep going.
Whoever drafts McAllister is going to have to let his parole officer let him leave Texas. So that might be a tough one there.
Look, man, just because he threw out the Tyreek Hill thing, can I get our boy Kendrick Law? It might be a little homerism from me.
Well, yeah, he is picked 300 and something.
I don't care.
It's kind of wild that Colin Lacey is at 308. You guys are disrespecting the Kentucky products here. That's what I feel. That's what I feel.
I'm going to take. I think the Chiefs would probably lean more Malik Benson here, if I had to say.
Considered that we did,
but this
not
is
take
our draft,
early.
okay?
Okay.
This is our draft. This is not theirs. This is Kendrick Law for me. Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
I mean, insane athlete. I think they can find some things to do with him. All right.
Andy Reid's going to have that man running end arounds.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, for real. And he does what Charles was saying, too. He can be a return kind of guy. So
yeah, for sure. And Jake Price in the chat says that Kendrick Law is an automatic upgrade over Remigio. Potentially, yeah.
You're probably right.
Let's see. No shade at Remigio, though. I do feel like, man, his college tape was electric. Let's see.
I wouldn't hate trying to find another defensive back here.
That's exactly what I was going to do. I was going to take Sierra Wright out of Nebraska. He looked pretty good in the All-Star games at the end. I think he plays the nickel pretty well. And we took Dalen Everett on the corner. We never addressed the nickel. So I kind of like doing that, unless you guys are opposed to it.
No, I mean, it's your pick.
I'd be down.
I really like the way he plays. Another dude, Toriano Pride, rather. He tested so well out of Mizzou. I know there's got to be a lot of Mizzou fans that might like that one.
Kid out of Southern Miss, Josh Moten, really good player, but he's got like a weird build. He's built kind of like a stick.
Oh, really? Oh, God, really?
Yeah, he's got.
I don't think I've watched Josh Moten yet.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, man. But I mean, he's ball hawk.
Let's go. B plus. Hey, that's good on this one, dude. Let me tell you, if you get an A- on AtoZ Sports, you cooked. Like you're
honestly, you get a B plus. You cooked.
Yeah, this is the hardest grading draft I think I've ever played.
Does
around
it have
with.
it grades each one, right?
Yeah. It says let's go through this. The Kansas City Chiefs came to play on draft day, ladies and gents, and that's why you should put me, Steve, and Charles in the war room.
Yeah,
snagging
for sure.
Dalen Everett. Thank you very much. I'll take a bow at 109. Instantly elevates this roster. TJ Parker at 29 gives this class serious depth. Parker might start. I don't know. Caleb Downs, he got a C. Yeah, I've noticed that this AtoZ Sports does not like the Chiefs. The idea of addressing safety, even at 11, I feel like that is such
weird
a value.
because I mean we talked about positional value.
Yeah, that's the positional premium weight right there.
Yep.
Like if you take
Parker,
a safety or a linebacker or a running back in the first round.
Yeah, so it's just saying that safety's not a premium position.
I would normally never take a safety anywhere near that, but Caleb Downs is a little different.
Ladies and gents, if I remember correctly, Eric Berry was taken in the top, 7 picks?
Yeah,
so, I mean, it could happen. TJ Parker at 29 got an A-, and that's pretty good. They didn't like the Honichor pick, but I've noticed you guys don't have tackle on here as one of our core needs.
Right. Yeah, I think we might need to roll out an update on that since the the right tackle situation that might. But it also I believe takes into account like roster numbers, so it looks at like every, and we have I think 8 offensive tackles on the roster right now. So even without without Jawan Taylor, it might be saying you got a lot of guys at this. I don't really need one, right? So that could have something to do with it. But again, I mean, we're looking at these grades. We took Kendrick Law and Sierra Wright and, Carmona at the end there, right? We're not getting A+ for those, but we're all feeling pretty good about them, right?
Right, the BCC. Jeremy Bernard, the trade up, got a B+. I think it respected that one. Jacob Rodriguez, a B. Look, Jacob Rodriguez at pick 75 would be a steal in my book. Dalen Everett at 109 and A across the board. There's no way that kid's going to 109, ladies and gents. It's not happening. Landon Robinson, B at 148 was pretty good. Fernando Carmona, B.
There's I'm going to say a 6-letter word that is the reason why Dalen Everett will not make it to number 109. Eagles.
6. Oh, yeah. Hey, he may be drafted in round 1.
That's the draft strategy every year, right?
They see Georgia Bulldog. Georgia Bulldog. It's game over, man.
Dude,
it's game over.
I like Dalen Everett. He's being overlooked, but yeah, he's not overlooked in the Eagles camp. He's probably in for 5 of their top 30 visits.
Let's go.
They just got a little sticky note on the draft board. Dalen Everett, no matter what.
Yeah,
no matter what.
Dalen Everett or
all
bust.
The Bulldogs or bust.
That's funny, man. Well, Charles, dude, we appreciate you coming on here talking about this mock simulator. I literally think that's the best mock simulator.
I'm not just blowing smoke or saying that because Charles is here, guys, but literally that's probably the best one that I've used this season. Absolutely.
I gotta say, I appreciate that, guys. I mean, our team, like I said, we worked really hard on this and to get it out for people to use this year. And the response so far has been tremendous. So we appreciate everyone using it and having fun with it. And, all the suggestions and stuff like that, they don't get old. So keep sending them our way, letting us know what you think of it, what you want to see, because we're going to keep making it bigger and better for the future.
I think that's the exciting part is the fact that this is your all's first go at it, and it's already better than most of the other platforms, in my opinion. So it's like can only get better from here, right? So
Charles, I'm gonna post that mock draft, and I'm gonna tag you on Twitter to let everybody on Twitter just destroy us. That's what I'm gonna do. And if you feel the need to write an article and tell them that they're wrong for destroying us, go for it. I don't know, but
hey, if you ever want to feel bad about yourself, you post things on X.
Oh yeah, let everybody tell you how wrong you are. It's great. But dude, we appreciate you being here, brother.
I appreciate you guys having me on. This was a lot of fun, and just appreciate all the kind words about the simulator.
Heck yeah,
For
man.
sure, man. We'll have to have you back once the Chiefs do draft and you come on and analyze all their picks. I'm sure they'll be better than ours. But yeah, man, if you guys haven't already, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Steve, you got anything for him?
No, just shout out Prize Picks for sponsoring tonight's live stream, and go check out that mock draft simulator, AtoZ Sports. We'll catch you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Go Chiefs.
Wow.